think I'm going to go with the mic here. Good evening, everybody. I am Gary Flam, Patrick's father. Thank you all for coming. I've got a few words here. I hope you're not all asleep by the time I'm done, but if you are, I'll wake you up individually. So here we go. On December 2nd, 1992, Patrick was born by C-section at St. Joe's Hospital in Houston, Texas. It gets better. It gets better. Actually, we had named him Kevin, but then unilaterally changed the name to Patrick on day 2. I remember telling one of my business partners, Andy Quinn, that no, the baby's name is Patrick, not Kevin. Andy looked at me and thought, who does that? So when Patrick was born, like his sister Jenny, he was a small baby, about 6.5 pounds. Annalie and I were overjoyed to have one boy now and a girl. When I held him the first time in the operating room, I could not help but be overjoyed and think of the TV show Roots, if y'all remember, holding the baby up in the air. But I had Patrick like a football. I was not going to drop him. He was the middle child, so he had already learned the ropes about child rearing with Jenny and her colleague. This time we were determined to have a more laid-back baby, and Patrick seemed amenable to this. Instead of a loud, ear-piercing cry, he had a small whimper that said, I may need you if you should become available. Or not. And so it was. Patrick was a quiet, happy baby. Quite intellectually and physically precocious, I might add. Started climbing at 10 months, fell out of the crib, down to the floor, requiring another crib with higher walls. By the time he was 14 months, he was already climbing up the bookshelves and the cabinets. Soon after, he was up the banisters and sliding down them. His quest for adventure continued to grow and culminated in wall backflips after volleyball games points with Colin, jumping out of second-floor windows, off roofs, boat masts, and forming human planks between buildings or posts, many of which are captured in videos. Colin, Matt, and Patrick, the thrill seekers. One time I remember going out with them. Actually, we did it several times. It was a night run to the different skateboarding places in Houston. Of course, they were all illegal buildings. And there were some guys out there like Officer Riviere who would stop them and kick them out. Some of you may appreciate this one more than others. But so it went on. He began reading early. He was blessed to have fantastic first-grade teachers who helped him become an amazing reader and found what he was interested in. And by the age of 10, he read every science fiction book known to man. Patrick was always, Grandma Sue was always proud of Patrick. She would take the kids on a head for the hills trip every year where they went to all different cities and countries. And Patrick was always the kid who did really well on the test but never studied for it. Grandma would have a pop quiz every year. So she was real proud of him for that. He even went so far as to include some of these adventures like running, jumping, and particularly skateboarding stunts with his college applications in a video. William and Mary, the college of, among others, liked what they saw. Patrick loved animals, as you all know. You all know about Minnie and Maxie. I call him Maxie, they call him Max. The cat and the dog. But he had many animals when he was a kid, and I think that's why he loved them. He had dogs, cats, birds, ferrets, guinea pigs, hamsters, and probably a few that I didn't think of mentioning tonight. Okay, so let's move along here, because you're all probably getting a little bored. We talked about Officer Riviere, that was a good one. We can't continue without talking about the infamous green guy stunts. And the green guy stunts would be where one of these guys, whether it be Patrick, Colin, Matt, would dress up in a green suit. Now Colin was particularly famous for this, but they dressed up in a green suit, and in the middle of high school sporting events throughout the city, they would go on the field and interrupt the whole thing. Run up and down and do cartwheels down the field, and then run away from the cops. And that was the other job of the other guys. They were the getaway guys. So they paved the way for them to escape without getting caught. Patrick then went on to junior high school and high school, enjoyed track, cross-country soccer, wrestling, fiercely competitive athlete, continued the video games and skateboarding and adventure activities. Passion for eating never waned. I'll never forget, there were 2 times I told Patrick to study. I brought him a PSAT book and I said, learn this. And then I brought him an SAT book and I said, learn this. And that was all that we ever talked about. Turns out Patrick ended up getting a PSAT National Merit Scholarship and going to the University of Tulsa. And as Rachel was a presidential scholar there, they both enjoyed their time tremendously. A couple other things about Patrick I wanted to talk about, which will kind of give a little more meaning to what you all know of him and know about him. Always a negotiator. Still negotiating with me. Every interchange is a negotiation. We won't go any further than that. But I'll never forget the time that when he was about 16, we were at a Mexican restaurant, and they had a selection of hot peppers at the restaurant. And I looked and I saw a few little red ones, and I said to Patrick, why don't you eat that one over there? I'll give you $20 if you should. And Patrick immediately ate that pepper, graciously accepted the $20 bill, and then within seconds excused himself from the restaurant. But we have made some good deals. All of you probably know about the car deals we've made. Some of Patrick's friends are aware of that. And they look at him and say, well, how did you do that? And my parents didn't do that with me. But Patrick worked out a deal. The BMW is for free college, which he has finished. And the Maserati is for the business school, which he will finish. A couple other things about Patrick, though, 2 in particular. They are computers and cell phones. And we're going to talk a little about each of those. I fondly think back to when Patrick was a baby, and I had actually, PCs were pretty new then. I had been involved with him for a few years, and I actually got bold and built my own PC. Not really built my own, but took apart one and put some new cards and drives, and that was about all I could do. And Patrick watched me do this patiently, and then went on to grow up and go to high school, and he built them from the main board and chip up, okay, the Pentium chip up. And that was pretty impressive. Also, operating systems. He was a master of all operating systems. And all you guys who know him probably realize that. But he really couldn't share much information with me because then I might be dangerous. He would watch the TV show Mythbusters and how things are built, how things work. When he was a little kid, with his mouth hanging open, just absorbing. And then it went on to, okay, well, he already knew a lot, so if you had to figure out how to do something, why not just Google it and see the YouTube video? Because there is a YouTube video for whatever it is that you're trying to do, right? Because everybody does know this, right? I mean, most of them. Well, there is. But, so we had a day. I think I'm out of power. I'm just going to talk really loudly. I'm out of power. We had a day that was awesome about, 3 weeks ago, Rachel? That Patrick put all this good skill to use. It was not a very fun day for Patrick, but he arrived home in the Sequoia with a bunch of awesome furniture that he was going to put in his new house. and he tries to open the back door, and it won't open, and then it breaks, okay? The handle breaks. So now we have a broken door with furniture jammed up against it and a broken handle, okay? So Patrick has to figure out how to get the door off, okay? Take apart the door, he watches the video, Rachel's over there coaching him on. He's inside the car with screwdrivers and all that. He takes apart the door and actually gets the furniture out. And that was just a week after, or two, I think, after the Maserati battery died, which, for any of you who have ever had a European car, that is just an absolute nightmare, okay? Because not only do you have to get a new battery, you have to first figure out where it goes, okay? And then you have to get in the car, and then once you're in the car, you have to get into the ignition with a little pin, okay? All of this, once again, Patrick figured out on Google and YouTube. But anyway, we're going to graduate to college now, University of Tulsa. And I'm going to talk about a few things that we've done throughout this time that I really enjoyed and that were meaningful to me, and I think that all of you will appreciate them. Day one, University of Tulsa. Freshman move-in day at the TU dorm. Rachel, Annalie, and I, and Jenny all carry Patrick's belongings up to his second floor room and put them away, and then meet his new roommate. A strange fella, to say the least. Within an hour, John and several other KA guys visit the room. That's good. Day two, Patrick moves out of the dorm to the KA house. He becomes a KA brother. The same fraternity, strangely, that I was a member of, 30 years before. Okay, so now we're up to year one. TU Parents Weekend, okay? Annalie, the kids and I are enjoying music, food, and a bonfire at the main field, and up walk David, Kim, and Rachel win. Okay, that's year one, beginning of year one, or in the middle. So we all begin to chat and end up talking for about 2 hours. And that's David, Kim, Annalie, and myself in particular, but Rachel and Patrick are there also. So we're talking. Rachel barely knows Patrick, but makes sure to announce that she would never date a man shorter than her. Then, that same night, David later mentions that Rachel is doing tutoring on the side. So I say, wow, Patrick would really love that. And David says, now you watch it, that's my daughter. Year one. Okay. All right? That's year one. All right, so year one ends. After year one, after year one Parents Weekend, it becomes Patrick's life mission to date Rachel. Okay? Now some of you have heard this before, but this is all my impression. It may not be very accurate, but it's still my impression. After year one, year two, Parents Weekend, Patrick and Rachel are now dating. And he lives in an awesome room in the KA house, created from a closet that, thanks to the ingenuity and hard work of his Aunt Margaret and Uncle Hobie, is now a room. The coolest room in the KA fraternity. Thanks, Hobie, too, for that. Okay? We meet all of his frat buddies. What an awesome and smart group of guys. Their cumulative GPA was like the highest of all the fraternities in the entire huge school. Okay? All right, year three, we visit to the ranch. Some of the guys from the fraternity come down. Patrick is thriving at TU, energy management and finance major. Rachel and the brothers are down with him, a few of them. We enjoy some motorcycle, wave running, shooting, treks into the woods. Good time is had by all. Patrick then moves to a campus apartment with his good friend and KA brother Andrew, who unfortunately is driving right now from Midland because his plane flight got canceled. Year three, family cruise to Caribbean. Matt joins us. We have an awesome time. Particularly memorable was Martini night. Okay. Very good. Patrick, you remember that night? I don't really remember that night. I think I had a good time. Year 3, family trip to Grand Cayman with the Ongs. Amazing trip of sun, beach, and boating with our good friends Richard, Kathy, and their son Jonathan, who will be here as soon as possible. Year 4, spring. After spending 3 years together, Patrick spends a knuckle-whitening, gripping day asking Kim and David for their blessings, and then proposes to Rachel at Aunt Margaret's house in Tulsa. Wow, first child to get married. We were both overwhelmed with joy. Then they inform us that they have jobs in Houston. We're like, wow, really? Okay. Year 4 graduation, K, celebrations. Jackie and Shelley Malone throw an awesome K party. Patrick graduates magna cum laude from TU Collins School. Rachel gets a master's in accounting. Good job, you guys. End of July, year 4. We're getting close to today. You can all take a breath. Annalie's been a photographer for years, and it's our job to find photographs. But we have terabytes of photos on various hard disks to select from, many of them that are pictures of other people's kids from kids' schools. So we're scratching our heads, and I realize this is going to take about 12 weeks to get through all these. And then we end up doing it really fast. After that, we realized which photos we were, in fact, going to save. Okay, at that time. August 7th to 9th, 2015, here we are. Preparation, a lot of preparation. It's almost over. Thank you all for coming. Just a couple of other words in summary here. We wanted to thank you all for taking the time out of your busy lives to visit with us on this special occasion. Patrick, we want you to know that we're so proud of you for what you've accomplished over the years and the courage and strength you've always shown in the face of major obstacles. Rachel, we love you and your family and see that you are so loving, stimulating, and supporting of Patrick through good times and bad. You don't know how much we appreciate that. You make him, as my wife does for me, want to be a better man. And for the two who have been the rock, the fiber, the glue that has held all of this together over the last 4 years. Patrick's parents away from home, who have treated him like one of their own and done everything. And when I say everything, I mean more than everything. From laundry service, to accommodations, to an ear to listen, a shoulder to cry on, sage advice, and to a complete suite of wedding planning services is Aunt Margaret and Uncle Lloyd. And last but not least, to Patrick's mother and my lovely wife, Anna Lee, the never-ending source of energy and strength, who every day continues to amaze me by always going the extra mile for not only her beloved son, but for all of her family and friends. Thank you.